All right, guys, good morning. So we're doing a drop mow. We're actually testing a drop mow feature. One of my friend's house, we're gonna do it in his yard, and we're gonna see how well it works. He has some definitive zones here, so I'm curious to see how well it works. So just want to show you guys what I'm doing. What I'm doing is I'm taking off from my house and I'm gonna fly over to his house and get an aerial, and this whole video will be comprised of an aerial, all right? So let's just get that done and then we'll start the drop mow. I want you guys to see me start the drop mow that way. For the skepticals, or for the skeptics, they don't have anything to say. All right, and I'll get his lawn frame before I start the drop mow. All right, there we go. Let's start framing in the lawn so we can get good coverage. And I'll get enough altitude, so let me get the camera at 90 degrees. Okay, good. Now we will get good coverage of that. And I'll track the robot as it goes, but I just want to have a comprehensive, actually. That's high. So I'm probably just going to track the robot. And I can do that. So let's just track the robot. All right. All right, guys. Let's continue this. We're going to start drop mow at this point. You see me walk into the frame. Forget that. And then I'll look at the settings once it starts. Okay, remember 5 seconds.
Drop mow started.
Okay, start. All right, guys, I'm gonna stand in the shade and I'll keep an eye on the screen while it does its thing. Minimize that so you guys have a better view. Okay, it already lost it. It already lost it, so oh well, I'll compensate. I might just manually fly this, guys, because we're already lost. We already lost the tracking, and I can't really. I don't want to get it too close because of the fact that it's he has a pool screen, and he has the other obstacle trees and so forth, and I don't want no incidents while I'm trying to focus on the. But I'll just frame the shots as we go on. I'm gonna go ahead and check the app for the robot and see what it's doing and check the settings. All right, 1.3 on the mowing speed. The cut height is, get some more angle on the camera so you guys can see what it's doing. Skew it in a little bit. Put some rudder into this so you can see it better. Okay, it did good. It went up to the frame, it turned around. It's cutting in the orientation that I set it in originally, but it still has to come. And I'll show you guys the yard here in a second. But yeah, the cutting path is 9.8. Mowing speed 1.3. I would have done 1 normally, but that's okay. I need to change those settings. And the cut is 3.1, which I normally do 3 anyway, so that's close enough. All right, let's just go ahead. Actually, you know what? What happened if I make it 3? I'll make it 3. It's dying. I can make it changes. I can make those changes and you know what? Let's take it down to 1. 1, 1. I'll make the changes now since I'll let the cut pat be what it is. But I changed the cutting height to 3 because that's what I cut at and it'll look more pronounced for him. And then there's the mowing speed at 1. All right, so we're good there. I'm gonna come out of the app and I'm gonna start focusing on the drone. Sorry about that, guys. It got away from me. I was so fixated on the app. And I should have screenshot the app. Sorry about that, but. All right, so there it is. It went down. Let me get some altitude. Since I'm controlling the drone now, I'll get some altitude so you guys can see the lawn. I want to actually keep the robot in frame. So you guys, what's my altitude? 20 feet? Okay. So you guys can see actually what it's doing in detail. So it should start going back down the next track. I think it sees a brown spot there. I don't know what it's doing, but I think that brown spot and that donut may have come from it spinning around, but I don't know. I didn't notice if it was there before, but he has some brown spots in his lawn. So remember, I have no say in what this thing do and see because it's totally autonomous because that's what drop mower is. Just the settings I told you, it has the cut height, the speed, and the cut path width is what you can adjust. So we're probably going to be very limited to how we avoid things because it sees what it sees and it doesn't know if it's grass or obstacles. But you're seeing what I'm seeing, so yeah, I think I avoided that donut that it created itself, but that's okay. Let's see what it does. His lawn in certain places are good, but so it did see that stump and they avoided the stump, so that's good. That brown spot that you just saw it went around is a stump. So come down and give you guys a closer look at that. See, that's a stump. Okay. All right, let's let it get this corner. I'll fly in a little closer. Give you some perspective here in the corner, how well it comes in proximity with the fence. And let it do it. It's already at 65% on the battery of the drone, 25 minutes. And it's just doing one portion. So it did that corner, it went into that corner very well. Oops, what am I doing? I can do some zoom in as well. Again, I'm talking this through with you guys, so. All right, now that it's coming back, I'll get some altitude with some perspective so you guys can see exactly what the scope of his yard is. Kind of see what we're actually doing for the drop mow scenario here. Let me pan down. So there's going to be 2 portions to this cut. The main portions with the robot is on with the tree and around the fire pit area, and then that portion right in front of the pool. So, oh man, guys, I don't know if you saw that, but it actually missed the the trunk of that stump, and it hit it, and I heard the blades. It went right over it. Oh my goodness! So, weird enough, I saw it on the scenario before, but so know that, and I heard the blade hit it too. It grind. I don't know if you guys heard that sound, but it was terrifying how bad that sound was. Let's see what happens on the way back. You know what I need to do is figure out the height of this tree as well. All right, let me see, I'm at 24 feet. We're still quite above the tree. Let's see what it does going back towards that stump. We're dead on with the stump. Oh, see, it saw it this time. It didn't see it though, the last time. So it went round this time. Like, so it's relative, huh? Perspective. Yeah, see, it went round fine this time. And then it was going to resume on the other side. All right, let me zoom back out. And you gotta love it. Hope it didn't destroy any of the blade disc. Again, guys, this is all drop mode, all autonomous. I had no mapping done in here. I am only, it's learning as it go. We want to test this. We're gonna do another lawn tomorrow, another friend of mine's, to figure out, to see from different, his lawn is kind of ideal. It's just a defined border with a square space. So you'll see it as we go. See, I think it's avoiding some of the brown spots, but we'll see what it does at the total end. I can look at the map. Look at the map of the robot and kind of see what it's doing. You can see some gaps, but it's good at coming back and seeing gaps. All right. Trying to stay out of his lidar way so it doesn't tag me as I'm trying to just as an obstacle. Yeah, see, it's digging into these, doing these zero turn. I can't stand that. And I don't have the options to, and he has soft dud in these areas, is digging in. Mammotion, you gotta fix that, man. This is no good because you're digging in the soft soil and you're just creating See, now you back out of it. Ugh. I want to show you guys how deep that those ruts that it created is. Oh my goodness. This is not good. Yeah, you know, you need to almost like a perfect lawn to be able to not create these scenarios that this robot does based on natural tendency. You know, the zero turn. Why would it apply a zero turn? Is beyond me. When it's exploring, it needs to be able to preserve lawn condition, you know? And right now it's just like repositioning, but it's just after now it's starting up. You guys may be able to hear that. It shut down the blade once it couldn't make the turn. Because as you can see, it's those omni wheels. If the soil is soft, it's very difficult to pivot with the omni wheels. That's why Mammotion, you need to make sure that you do a multi-point turn, man. A zero turn is not appropriate because you can be in any form of soil, and this is Florida, so you know it's sandy here, right? So it's really soft. You guys can see me pushing back in the dirt. It's really soft. And I should not be focused on me, I should be focused on the robot, right? Sorry about that, guys. Getting carried away. But it worked itself out, and here we go with the stump again. Let's see what it does. And it bypassed it very close. And that's impressive to me, right? That did good. I mean, it went over it one time, so I can't even say it was flawless with the stump and the obstacle detection of the stump, but as you can see, it avoided, and it was a close bypass. We know it saw it because it slowed down. But anyway, I'm gonna try to fix this, what it did here. I mean, this is very soft where it digged in here, but the soil is very soft, so that's why it did that. But still, it should not be doing a zero turn. Hey guys, I'm gonna implement a time lapse for the remainder of this lawn until it gets to the perimeter, and then I'll come back and we'll discuss what it does over the perimeter, because this video is gonna be super long if I don't minimize some of these clips. All right, I'll see you in a bit. All right, guys, I wanted to kind of show you it left, the way it started, it just went to the left. And so it finished this main body of the lawn, like I showed you guys, and it went all the way to the left side of the property. And now it came all the way back here to finish this segment that it never did. So that's pretty good, right? You know what I mean? So it's if I notice, I'll go show you right now, it's avoiding a lot of the big brown spots, but at least it came back. You can see the striping in this area, and it went all the way to the left, and I'll show you guys that right now. But it came back to finish this segment because it's based, I started in the center, so I guess it doesn't go to the right to go left, it just continued going. It started and it went all the way left. And then and once it got all the way to the final extremes of the lawn, which I'll show you guys a screenshot, it came back to this area. And it views this area as, it views those spots as obstacles. Well, Motion, you need to work on that. So it avoided this. It did a lot of maneuvering to avoid these areas, which is really no grass here, but you get it. It created this spot right here, this donut, and that's because, again, there's really nothing there. And you guys can see this spot, this area over here, created that because it's not a lot of roots, and it's very sparse in terms of roots and grass. So it's going to tear into the area. I mean, to the soil, as you already know. So I told you guys I'll give you a flyover of the area I did not film, and just to kind of see what it looks like in the certain areas that it digged into. But overall, it didn't do a bad job. But I'll show you guys some of the other perspective that shows you the lines. But it avoided this area as well, and it did not cut this segment up here for whatever reason, whatever it saw that it didn't like. But let me flip you guys around and show you. So you can see where it cut versus where it didn't cut. I'll give you guys the flyover side swipe, horizontal movement, so you can kind of see how these lines play in and what it did. And we still have this little independent segment to do. I'm gonna bring you all the way over. Boom, okay? I'll flip you around. You can see the robot coming towards us now on its trajectory. And it's filling in to the left now, where it didn't do because I started in the middle. Next time I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna try starting it on the boundary and let it work its way across the entire yard. So I'm gonna try that tomorrow at my other friend's property, and we'll see what happens. And again, I'll show you, this area has not been done yet, and I'll show you guys that shortly. All right, cool. Wanted to show you how it's avoiding that area. Actually doing a center cut, sorry, where it didn't do because it went wide. Let's see, how much battery? 89%. I think I can probably just let it show you. And again, guys, this is 100% a drop mow cut. This area has not been mapped and will not be mapped unless my friend decides he's gonna buy one of these robots. Then of course I will be with him and I will help him set it up perfectly. See, it didn't go all the way to the end for whatever reason. Or maybe it did something in the past in that segment and they don't feel like it needs to go. So, I don't know. Guys, it is so humid here in Florida. I am sweating, I am drenched, and I'm actually standing in the shade. Be grateful you are where you are, unless you're in Houston and other places like here that gets super humid. And there's no breeze. Well, there's something out there, but I'm not feeling it. This is why these robots are so prevalent here. I'm telling you straight talk. Because, man. So it looks like it is going to this area now. Or it's trying to. I don't know. We'll see. Yeah. I guess it's decided to push the boundaries. I don't know. I don't want to interfere with it, so let me move away. Hopefully it's going to start the boundary now. That's what I kind of wanted to see. No, I think it probably still has a couple more stripes to do. Let's take a look in the rear perspective. Let's see. Yeah, it still has a couple more stripes to do. At least two more runs. All right. Yeah, so maybe one more pass, but that looks more to be like a boundary pass versus an area or perimeter pass. But I'm glad it did come back and do. So now I know when you start a drop mow, it would behoove you to start it to the extreme of one side of the property. Because if you start in the center of the property, it's just going to go one direction, and then it'll have to come back and go the other direction. So if you start it on the extreme of one side of the property, it just works its way efficiently across the entire property. So that makes sense. Okay, you live and you learn. I don't know what it's going to do right now. Maybe it's setting up to do the boundary. Not sure. Well, it feels like it's still got one more pass to do before it does the boundary. Yeah, it probably thinks it has one more pass to do before it does the boundary. All right, guys. I think we're setting up for the boundary. I'm assuming. Looks like it's starting to get close. I don't know. It might be doing some finishing cuts based on what it thinks it missed. But let's just see what's up. This looks more like a boundary cut. Well, I want to know if you guys notice that sometimes this thing will find the worst places to do this zero turn. You know, it finds the worst places, and right now it's not a bad place, But when I'm talking about like some of those previous donuts I showed you that it did, it's like weird enough. So I can't tell right now if it wants to try to do the boundary or if it's just trying to uh, complete some spots that I think it missed when it did the original cut earlier. So it's just randomly cutting across the grass, as you can see. Which again, don't make any rhyme or reason what it's doing. But again, drop mower, right? So it doesn't really have any directive. It's just doing what it thinks it should do. Let's move over here where you guys can see close better what's going on. I want to keep the camera zoom out because I'm carrying the drone, so this looks really close to the boundary, so looks like it might be starting that here. And it's doing a great job keeping away from the fence. Yeah, this definitely looks like boundary now. It's searching for his path. Yep, it's definitely doing the boundary. Which this is a good thing for you guys to see. This is what I want you to see. Look how, oh my goodness, it doesn't even do that close when I'm mapping. And it's just missing the pulses, very subtle miss. Man, when I map it that close, it don't even follow that path. Look how nice this thing is traversing. And it just goes out just enough to miss the post. Guys, isn't that an awesome job? And this is a drop mow. Wow. Okay, we might use the whole battery on this just to show this. This is amazing. How nice is mapping this? Or it's cutting this boundary. There's a sprinkler head that's protruding here. This is a very good test. Let's see what it does for the sprinkler head. If it avoids it, or it tries to run over it. Oh, it saw it. Okay, what is it gonna do? It backs up. Don't. Hey. I want it to back up, come on. Oy. I hope it doesn't high side. Oh, I know it was gonna hit the blades. Damn. Doom. Come on, you gotta get better than this. Come on, Mammotion. I wanna help it because this is gonna cause problems. Well, that's what I was afraid of. It broke the top. Come on, how did you see this and then not avoid it appropriately? All right, guys. I hope this didn't destroy my friend's head. Also, I'm going to Lowe's now to fix this. And this is way out of the ground, so this won't be the norm. But, oh my goodness, this is so frustrating. Anyway. Okay, so now we went from doing a great job to now hitting the fence like you can't see it. See, that's why you don't give the things of this world any accolades, man, because the minute you start glorifying something, it fails you miserably. And now it's to try to do a donut right here in this spot, which makes no sense. What is it seeing that it feels like it has to do what it's doing? That's the thing that amazes me. And Mammotion doesn't give you no indication to this reality. How did you start off so close to the fence doing such a great job and now you can't stop avoiding it? Like it's going like absolutely ridiculous. It doesn't have a map it's following, so it should be using LiDAR as well as its camera, but now it's just constantly hitting every post. It's like it's lost its mind. This is piss poor. I'm sorry, guys. And it could be this brown spot it's trying to avoid things. And I can't tell you because, again, we have no visibility. And it's going to avoid that whole brown spot right there. Obviously, that's what it's trying to do. But, oh my goodness. It's downright frustrating. And you get frustrated because you don't know what it's thinking, right? And you don't know why it's doing what it's doing. And I'm sure that's what it's trying to do, is avoid that brown spot, but at the same time get this boundary cut. Absolutely ridiculous. But anyway, it's the nature of this technology. And I'm sorry, guys, I take it a little personal because you go from doing something so well to doing it so horribly. It's downright frustrating, you know? But okay, it's okay. This is what it is. I know I take it personal, guys. You don't have to tell me. But you see, now it's bounced. So it's just, it has to be the spots, right? The areas that it's trying to avoid, and it goes too close one way to try to avoid it, but you should see the limitation of your path. And if you can't make it, then you have to avoid it completely, right? You just can't just start doing random things, you know? So I'm going to try to follow the boundary completely with you guys, because I still want to get an aerial of the entire thing, but I also want you to see the smaller area as it starts to cut that, just so we have a conclusive video of all the areas that this thing was meaning to cut. So again, it's back on track with cutting the boundary decent. So it must have been seeing that brown spot and trying to avoid aspects of it, you know? It has to be, because it's back on track and it's cutting the area. It's close to the fence. It's doing a great job hugging the fence. But, you know, it has its limitations, obviously. Let's see what it does with this area here. See, it looks like it was going to do a good turn radius. Yes, that's excellent, actually. Now, I should have, that brown right there is what it's avoiding. That makes sense. Okay. Yeah, it's avoiding that brown leaf across, next to the fence. So, okay, that makes sense. And it maneuvered appropriately to do it, but it still bumpered the fence, man. That's what I'm saying. Make your turn deliberate. Like, come on, Mammotion, you're better than this. Okay, it got itself right. So it was trying to avoid this, guys, which I didn't see it to pick it up, but it is what it is. And again, more brown spots. It doesn't do well with brown spots. It just doesn't know. Whereas we can make this a no vision area or a cut area via the software and the options. See, this whole spot is avoiding. So it's trying its best to cut it as close as possible, but it's trying to avoid it. I'm hoping it finishes this little area up in here to the straight ahead, because it missed that on the previous cut. So I'm hoping it goes and does it right now. But it looks like it's gonna call that finish for the boundary. See, yeah, it doesn't even go into that area. Well, it does, but it's avoiding these areas here. Come on. There's something about this grass right here. No, see, it altered its path. What are we doing, guys? This is where the vacuum manufacturers of lawnmower robots exceed these straight autonomous robot manufacturers, because those vacuum manufacturers, they have it down to a science, right? You know, they have years of learning AI vision, mechanical vision, just knowing what a sock look like, what cable look like, what various things look like, and just identifying machine vision type identification of objects, right? So they have it down to a science. These guys here still have some work. I mean, we need to be able to identify what the robot sees and to know how the robot is perceiving it. That's not something you should keep secret to your engineers. The consumer needs to get smarter and more capable, right? So you need to present that to so the consumer can say, oh, okay, that's an area that I need to put a no vision or something along those lines. When you just have the robot do evasive maneuvering, destructive evasive maneuvering with no information to the consumer, we don't know how to better our lawn. You need to give us information so we can say, okay, you know what? It's seen, I think that's an obstacle. At least say obstacle detected so we know we need to go put a no vision in that area or something, right? That's what's important. All right, I was hoping what it would do here for the perimeter. I'm trying to see how close it's going to cut it, if it's going to split the gravel, or is it going to just ride the perimeter edge. And this is the ideal scenario for it to split the gravel and the grass, so you can have a nice clean edging. But only God knows what it's going to do. Yeah, doesn't look like it wants to. It's trying to avoid the brown. That's sad. Like I said, it finds the worst places to do a zero turn. Mammotion, if you know that you're avoiding a spot that's brown, then don't do the zero turn in that spot. Move the robot to a green spot, then do your zero turn and readjust from that point. Because you're just creating ruts in people's lawn, man. And then you're destroying their lawns inadvertently, and that's not why we buy these robots. Come on now, I'm gonna keep you honest. You know, all these other influencers and people you have on YouTube who kind of just say the bare minimum, nah, bump that. You know, even if you had given me this robot for free, I would keep you honest, because I don't care if you never give me another one, you know. You need to be held accountable, and you need to improve, and the only way you can improve is with constructive criticism. So you see the robot just missed all this area here just because it's construed in this sod implementation as obstacle and not as grass, you know. I guarantee if this was all green, it would have cut it closer. And you notice it's staying right at the boundary of that, and once in a while it cuts in where it sees grass or thinks it's grass, and it cuts in closer. You see what I'm saying? This is the problem. But we'll see what happens over here where it gets more green and see what it does, because it's obviously what it's doing now. It's just seeing that dead sod as obstacle and not as the boundary. It's looking just for grass. And if you can go into the gravel and ride in the gravel, that means you're not afraid of it, right? So that should be the distinction or the demarcation between grass and not grass. But you see what it's doing here? It's not straddling, and that's the feature we need. We need a straddle feature. This is good, like right there. That's what we want to see, but it keeps going in and out. And it's not hugging that, it's leaving a lot of uncut grass just because it's trying to avoid certain things. That sprinkler head it didn't avoid, but jeez. It tore that cap off. I hope it's just the cap. And of course, the one place it's going to try to spend more time is where another sprinkler head is. I know you guys are tired of hearing me ranting, but I know I'm ranting for a good reason. Motion, look at this video. You can't find this acceptable for the boundary. You can't get no more clear and defined than what this is. This robot shouldn't be varying this much. Just straddle this boundary. This is a perfect example of what a boundary should look like. Why is this swerving motion? That shouldn't be happening. Should follow this line straight as possible. And that's why I haven't stopped recording, because I want you guys to just see how erratic this is. Okay, I get this over here, this big old entry point. But then, okay, it skipped the grass just because it saw the black here. This sprinkler head, it skipped all of that. It did go on the entry point and it did get that area well, but it sprinkler head, it avoided this area just because, and then of course it swings so wide that it misses a whole bunch of grass just because it swings so very wide. And it sees this sprinkler head, it goes over it. If it had done that over there, that other one, it wouldn't have cut off the top of it like it did. Look how much it swerved out just for that little one. And this big one, it cut the top of it off just because. This is unnecessary. This is crazy. I'm sorry. Maybe I'm not cut out for these type of reviews because I take it too personal. And this is what they avoided. This pink type sprinkler head. And it went like a half a mile out just to avoid it. And then end up missing all this grass right here just because of that avoidance. If you tell us what the robot is doing and seeing, then we would have more patience. At least I would, because at least it would make sense. Even if you give me the code, I can interpret that. But you keep us blind, man, and then you want us to accept mediocrity. That's not fair. So this should be coming up on the end of this boundary cut, unless it's gonna cut it twice. And if it's gonna cut it twice, then I'm gonna go ahead and end this video at this point. And it looks like it's gonna cut it twice, which I'm not gonna complain about that. It's gonna be a cleaner cut, but okay. I'm gonna let you guys go as far as this sprinkler head, kind of see what it does here for the sprinkler head once again. And then I'm gonna end this video. Get out of the way. Let's see what it does. Okay, does it avoid it properly? Barely. And I think that was a fluke. It barely avoided this time. You guys saw how close that came. Granted, the sprinkler head shouldn't be that far up above the grass, but see, it did that very, very wide swing, and then it's going to swing all the way back. It could have just simply go forward, come back, a multi-point, and just continue on the path. But look what it did. It avoided all of that just to go hit the fence. Okay, I want you guys to see this once again. So at least it didn't hit it this time, but the avoidance is very poor. So all this grass right in this area here didn't get touched because it swung way out here, a very big radius, unnecessarily. And I think it's probably because it's trying to avoid this brown spot, which is a large part of the problem here. All right, enough of this, guys. Let's save some battery so you guys can see the final cut. It'll figure it out. We already know. I'm gonna go ahead and see if I can repair my buddies. All right, guys, I'm back. Now we're just watching the small area being done. I'm gonna go ahead and take the aircraft up and show you guys the view from above of what's been done on the small area. It just started, and they actually did I started from the right side, the right of the robot as it currently faces, and so you can just go across the whole thing. It's going at an angle, but that's okay. It's also tearing up his walkway. It's going into the walkway for some reason, which it didn't do before, but now it's doing it. But anyway, I'm gonna get some altitude and show you guys the perspective of the property. From up above for the main area that's been mowed. And let me minimize this view here so we get some more screen space. Hopefully we can see its efforts. You see the lines better from the ground than you do from the top. And I'll show you what I'm talking about. So can't really see it that well from the top. Let me get this at 90. But I'll go to the left and show you a perspective from there. But anyway, this is the layout, and it apparently it got most of the lawn cut, with the exception of the small space that it's doing now. And let me swing to the left here and show you guys what I'm talking about for the striping. See, they're coming into view a lot better now once I come here to the left. We got another. And again, guys, this is drop mow, so we really gotta take it as a grain of salt, because you guys can see what I'm seeing. So we know there's a serious limitation when the grass has brown spots, and I'm starting to see that as clear as day. Ugh. I will transition across the lawn and see what all you guys can see. So overall, didn't do a bad job. It cut down his lawn pretty well, even while trying to avoid all these brown spots. But the brown spots kind of mask how well the cut would have looked if they weren't there. All right, so let's bring it back and kind of look at the area being cut right now. Don't have that much power left in the robot. It took a lot of energy to do this area, and I noticed that's what happens when you're trying to do a we got 27%, 22. It just updated. So 22% done, I mean left in this area. And it looks like it's coming up on, it looks like it's done a third of the area. So I'm not trying to carry this robot home. So maybe when it gets down to like 5%, I'll stop it if it's not finished, and manually drive it home. All right, guys, we'll keep going until then. Take a screenshot of the area that's done so far, so I can show you guys what the map looks like. Oops. I'm actually going to show you guys what it does to this gravel when it digs in. It's so sad that it shouldn't even be going into the gravel, but then when it cuts, when it does the edging, it doesn't go into the gravel. It digs right in. I gotta bring you guys down to show you this. This is just so frustrating. It tears up Look at the hole that this thing created. So, and then it goes somewhere else to do the same thing, man. That's the thing. It's it finds every spot to go and dig a hole. You know, it just doesn't make sense how it functions. It would not avoid. Now, if you wanted to go cut there, to like cut the edge half on, it won't do it. But let it need to go dig a donut. It would find the perfect spot with no grass to go dig a donut. Let's get this right, Mammotion, please. You're causing people pain. Going into the boundary, see? Going beyond the boundary just to tear up the gravel, see? And if it did control, if it did what do you call, a multi-point turn, we won't have the problem, right? That's the problem. But it doesn't do that. It does this zero turn every single time. Sorry guys, I'm getting frustrated as again, see? And that's what it's doing, Mammotion. That shouldn't be. It shouldn't even be in the boundary because that's not grass. And the funny thing, you won't avoid this when you're doing this, but you would avoid it when it's on the grass, which makes no sense. You know, come on, we gotta be right here. This is gonna be a long video. That's okay. I don't think I'm gonna shoot the boundary of this. I'm just gonna let you guys see the departure and show you the property from the air before I depart to send this thing home. And then and we'll call this video a wrap. And then we're gonna have another one come out with a different type of grass. I mean, same grass, just a little bit more greener and complete. See, and it did the boundary, it did the turn perfect this time, even though it did a zero turn, but it didn't do it outside of the grass. So what is the difference there, Mammotion? I can't tell. There's nice healthy grass in that spot. So how is it that you go into the gravel on one run and then the other run you don't? Some inconsistency here. And they avoided it over there as well. And then they'll have another time when it just goes into the gravel and it creates havoc. See, that's you sensing the boundary. Stop. Do a multi-point turn like that and back up. Look at this. Does that make any sense? Yeah. Look. See, guys, see what I'm talking about? And that's nowhere on track. We're way off. We'll see how it cuts the other home tomorrow. And it just did a 360 beyond me. And it's nowhere where it should be. It should be at least 3 feet from where it's at. Now it's going back. Oy. I hope this is worth you guys' time because this will get you frustrated. And it's getting me frustrated only because the lack of continuity or consistency bothers me. The multi-point turn, I get if you have a minor adjustment right at the last minute, you need to do that little twisting thing you do, that's fine. But for the bulk of the turn, the majority of the turn should be a multi-point. Shouldn't be a full zero like you're doing, like this. You guys have seen enough to see what this thing does. All right, so I think I'm gonna go ahead and call it. It can cut the area. Would it cut it efficiently? It depends. So the battery is too low, so No, so it called it on its own. I was gonna call it anyway. All right, guys, that's the nature of a drop mower. This is for this property. You kind of see what it stopped the drop mower at this point, and I'll screenshot this for you guys to have that reference, which is about 3/4. I'm gonna call it here. You see, this is the end of it. Look, my brothers and sisters around the world, I'm not even gonna go into anymore. I've narrated enough during the cuts. I got to put all this together for you guys, and then I still got another cut tomorrow that's going to be contrary to this and a better suited lawn. So we'll see how that looks. All right, so I hope you guys enjoy this one. It's long, but it's long for your benefit. All right, guys, God bless you all. I'll speak to you in the next one. Take care. Bye.